back actually. Congress getting elected there it's been quite an interesting adjustment. I've come out of there with my own analogy of what Congress is now. I like to use this analogy, in the state politics, it can be black and white and somewhat gray and still accomplish something. In Washington, D.C., it's not black, it's not white, it's not gray, it's polka dots. And so everything's kind of interesting back there. You try to figure out what colors you want to fit in which file, and then that leaves you the opportunity to decide how you want to vote. So it's sometimes a little bit different process, but it's worked for hundreds of years, almost over 100 years. So, anyway, my entrance was to try to do a little Spanish. Es un placer estar aquí con ustedes. And just to let you know that I'm here today, that I want to learn from you. I want to know what your issues are that you need to benefit, where we can help. I'm here to have you share your ideas, share your concepts of where the challenges are, to make sure that I'm there to represent you as individuals and that we get this economy back moving again. I'm also here to serve you. I have a great staff. They're available. They want to do the job and the work for you. There's individuals in this room that may have voted for me, and there's individuals that may have not. But I'm here to serve everyone. Politics goes out the door when you elect the Cressel Hardy. I believe that it's my job to serve all the constituents in my district, and I will do the best that I can to do so. You need to know that I care about your issues, that I truly have a desire to do the best that I can in this district, and I care about the same things you care about: education, immigration, jobs, and business growth are very important. Excuse me. Education is one of the most important things that can happen in a society. Education provides us the opportunity to enter the workforce more qualified. It provides us the opportunity to release our entrepreneurial spirit. And the Hispanic population in this district are the largest job creators in this district. And we need to continue to help and strengthen that entrepreneurship through education. In addition, we need to focus on the trades, and we also need to focus on higher education. I will tell you, from my standpoint, not everyone needs a college education. It benefits you at all avenues, but I believe that vocational opportunities are still very important in this country. I've made a living in vocational opportunities that I've had in the construction industry. It's provided, and I think I've created a strong family with that opportunity. So construction will always be needed, and many of the vocational opportunities will always be needed. So not everyone needs that higher ed to be a school teacher or be a scientist. It helps in all avenues, but I think we need to continue to support that where we can. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about immigration. It's one of the most complex issues out there. There's no easy solution to immigration. And I'm not going to stand here today to tell you I have all the answers, because I don't. What I do know is that we need to have a smart, compassionate, thoughtful process of solving this immigration policy. Back and forth changes are frustration, and they're uncompassionate. We need a thoughtful reform system that has, like you say, comprehensive step-by-step, because it's not an easy process. We need to have that step-by-step legislation that's focused on the 21st century. A policy that works from now through this whole century, or the remaining portion of the century, where people have confidence that they can come here and stay here and look for that American dream that we're all looking for in our lives. That it provides that solid foundation to keep families together, to grow and have that sustainability that every father, every mother wants to be able to do, is to take care of that family. And right now, we've played politics for far too long with immigration policy. That needs to stop. The President's executive orders, they're only temporary. They cause uncertainty. because the next guy that comes along can change it. We can't go along and have these type of policies where people take it on their own to just make executive orders that can be changed. It's frustrating to everyone. And so I believe that Congress, and I believe we will in this session, I have really optimistic hopes that we will come out of this 114th session with secure borders, and also with a policy that functions and works well, and it brings the opportunity for that 11 million plus undocumented individuals to have that solid, sound foundation to knowing where they're going to be here in this country. We all want to achieve the American dream. We need to provide that pathway to do so in a fair and compassionate opportunity. Families are so important. I cannot tell you, and I believe in the three-legged stool that Reagan talked about. What makes a strong nation? Strong families, strong defense, and strong economy. Right now, I think we're weak on all three. We need to strengthen all three, and I think that's through families is the first thing, with good jobs that help provide that economy that helps us sustain that important defense that we need in this country. So, small business. I think you know, the 4th district, again, like I say, it's a dynamic area. It's an area that is struggling, but we need to get back on track. We need to help this community be able to start those small businesses without regulation and frustration that stands in our way. You know, from my standpoint, as you know, I was a small business owner. And my partner bought me out a little over almost 2 years ago, and I've been blessed in that business. And there was a number of employees that I had the opportunity to employ at the time. A major portion of them were Hispanic population. They came, they worked hard, they did their job, and many of them left with more experience and started their own job. That's never been a frustration to me. I've always thought that was great, that I could teach and people can go on and expand, and competition's good in life. And I think that's what we need to do, is get back to that point in small business. Point that let's build something. I think it's important that we get back to building. You know, as an individual, I sit on a number of committees. I've been blessed with committees that actually are part of my expertise. And I think I've actually been told that in certain areas there's nobody more qualified on the Hill than I am in certain areas. And that's where transportation infrastructure, for me, is one of the committees that I received, the Committee of the Whole. I'm actually the vice chairman on Highway and Transit. Why is that important to me? Why is that important to Nevada? I've already signed on with a bill to try to expand this I-11 corridor along with Senator Heller and the rest of the congressional district, to make sure that we, and then Congressman Dozier from Arizona, to make sure that we can continue to be competitive, that we can provide that economic viability that this community needs, that I think we've been lacking. It's been said before, but if you haven't heard it, Las Vegas and Phoenix are the only two major cities in the nation that don't have a north-south corridor. Why is that important? Because it provides that transportation opportunities back and forth, for bring trucks, infrastructure. It actually provides businesses to grow and expand, because now you can go all directions with that product that people want to create, or the products they want to sell, or those businesses that be able to sell those trucks or cars that are coming through our community. We have such a congestion coming out of the Los Angeles I-15 corridor to Las Vegas. Actually, I think it'll help alleviate some of those challenges by providing opportunities for people to come over 40 and up this I-11 corridor in the future, and then from the south also. One of the other committees that I'm on, and subcommittees that I'm on, has pipeline and rail. How does that benefit Nevada? I believe one of the avenues that we can really change some things, and one of my dreams, and I'm working with folks from the rail systems to try to see if it's a viable opportunity. I truly believe that we can take a lot of traffic off the I-15 by moving trucks off the I-15, by bringing more, providing, maybe constructing an inland port on the north side of this community, where they can transport by train from Long Beach and those other ports, all that produce and product to an inland port that could be developed on the north side of this town and the North Las Vegas area, that would actually, trucks could pick it up there. I know from personal experience, the trucking industry does not like to go into California. It's a challenge. It causes many hours. It's frustrating for them. The permits, the policies, the procedures. They would rather probably pick it up here. And I think if we can get that on trains and have an inland port here that would create major jobs, I think it would provide a great opportunity. There's been a couple of them done in the east, and they function very well. So why not look at one here? So the other one is Waters of the U.S. on transportation infrastructure. Waters of the U.S., as you know, it's very important out here in Nevada, what goes on with water. And so that's another committee. Natural Resources is another committee that I'm on. Happen to be on Minerals and Energy subcommittee, which is vital to Nevada. Some of the best jobs in our state come right out of the mining industry. Some of the other issues, committees I'm on is public lands. If anybody knows me, know that I have a passion and a desire to get more lands back into the state of Nevada's hands. I believe that is important for economic growth. I believe that puts us on a fair and equal footing with all other states, like our founding fathers expected. That we'd all have our lands for to be able to be on fair and equal footing with all other states, to be laboratories of industry, to be able to tax for education on those properties, to be able to tax for infrastructure and other. I don't know, the other subcommittee that has been a real pleasure to be on is my small business. And the subcommittee there, I'm over the chairman over regulation oversight. We've already started to have a number of small roundtables and meet with businesses here in the district. There's challenges and frustration. I've said before that you have the answers. When you come to me with a problem, come to me with an answer, because you won't like the way Washington does it. Help me help you the right way. Get your good things started with your innovative ideas and the way you'd like to see things done to help get out of the way of your businesses. In closing, I'd like to give you a challenge. I'd like to let you know to help me know best how to help your community. I think it's important. You need to let me know, let my staff know what we can do. I can guess all I want, but I need to have your help and understanding. Make sure you reach out and let us help the best we can in this district. Your input's invaluable. So with that, I don't speak long. Everybody knows that. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. Yes, sir.
First of all, congratulations. I mean, you took a seat that you weren't favored to take. So obviously, you're pretty good at campaigning and getting the pulse of what needs to happen. But you talked a lot about immigration. But my question is, right now, as far as the public is concerned, it seems like it's stuck in Congress, it's stuck in the House of Representatives. What can you do to get the discussion and get the voting, something passed in the House? Because it's already been passed in the Senate. So what's keeping the House from doing something? And what can you do to expedite that?
One of the big challenges you have, and whether you like it or not, the Republicans have, is it's pretty divided at times. And it takes a certain amount of votes to go where you're going. And so we've got to get through some of these processes. I think we're getting there. There are certain things that we started down the pathway, and as you know, most people believe that we need to secure our borders first. We have major challenges all over this country on all four sides, the ports and every place else, that we need to make sure that security happens, and then we can move forward that policy. I think that is the goal. I spoke with the speaker, I spoke with the majority leader, and all avenues we're starting to come together, and everybody wants to get this followed as quick as we can. So I think it's going to happen. I really do. Yes, it is frustrating. It always seems to just linger on. But I think it's one of those issues. If we don't solve it, we'll pay for it. Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations, and it was great working on your campaign. Tricia Martinelli Price with the Polydor Foundation. I'm a small business owner, but I also run a foundation. 2 questions. On the small business side, before the Small Business Administration many years ago, we could borrow directly from them. Now we have to go through an accredited bank and borrow from the bank. So I'd like to see some of that changed. The second is on our veterans. I'm here with Claude and Lupe from Vets for Action. It takes forever for Social Security to give benefits to our veterans that have secured not only America, but other parts of the world. The administration, as far as the Veterans Administration, Social Security, they get bonuses for turning a lot of these cases down. Can you see how you can help to make that happen, that we don't have this situation, especially with our veterans that are actually aging out and dying before they get their benefits?
That's a good question. I can tell you from my stand, let's start with the VA question first. If those kind of things are happening, we need to know about them, want to work with our staff. I think I have one of the best VA administrator staff members anywhere across the country. He's doing a fantastic job. He's solving problems already within the VA system. We are actually drafting a letter right now to send to Committee Chair McDonald, or the Director McDonald, on some frustrations that we're having with the VA. And hopefully the Senator Heller will sign on with it and let him know that what's going on with other issues that have to do with our VA buildings themselves and the construction of a project down in Pahrump that's been promised over a year and a half ago. And I think that those kind of issues need to come to a head. I'd love to have you discuss with my staff all those issues that you're running into. Now, small business and financing and banking, you know, there's so many things that have happened with banking that is frustrating all small businesses. It's come to the point where we're destroying the small banks to where they can't afford to do the kind of oversight that is required by the federal government, to where basically they're closing. And then there's avenues that encumbers the small business. I can tell you from my own small business and my partner right now, because of banking regulations, it takes lines of credit to be able to run a business. Because sometimes it takes 90, 120 days, maybe even 180 days to get your money back. You can't afford to carry that on your own. And banks will no longer let you use your real estate as collateral because of the Dodd-Frank. And that needs to change. You need to, if you've got collateral, you should be able to use it for your line of credit, to while you can continue to grow your business, continue to pay your bills, while you're waiting to get paid sometimes on government jobs. Yes, sir.
One, just pure advice, and number 2, a question. One, healthcare. The Hispanic community has been one of the biggest beneficiaries of the Affordable Care Act. We're taking the subsidies and we're helping people get back, give birth to doctor. 26-year-olds or under are being able to stay on their parents' insurance.
I need you to talk a little louder there.
26-year-old healthcare. 26-year-olds are being able to stay on their parents' insurance. Latinos are taking the subsidies, and one of the biggest beneficiaries of this healthcare program have been Latino families. So my advice to you is, you want to help us, leave the Healthcare Act as it is. Question. There have been a lot of Republican candidates jumping on the race. Most of them, if not all of them, have said pretty inflammatory things about the Latino community. Who are you supporting for the Republican nomination?
I haven't even thought about who I was going to support for the Republican nomination of president. They're still getting in. There's no way that I would even consider picking somebody at this point in the race.
Will you support?
Just like anybody else, I want to know what the makeup of that individual is, what's his talking points, what's his sincerity, what's his plan, not just for immigration, but for job growth, for national defense. There's so many things that need to be addressed on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, whoever you support, make sure that they don't say anything inflammatory about the Latino community, because trust me, we'll remember that too. Thank you.
Okay. You had one other question in front there. You started.
No, that was the only
On
question.
healthcare? Okay, you just had a comment on healthcare.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the record, record, you did vote in favor of a resolution to actually repeal the ACA. So that is a concern already in looking at your voting record. And hopefully you're actually going to be changing the route that you're going on that. So just to kind of follow up and piggyback on that. Two, I wanted to ask you a question on minimum wage because a lot of your districts, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
No, I'm just
Okay,
saying.
sorry, okay. So, in terms of the district makeup, and congratulations, and I am a voter in Congressional District 4, I own a home now, and I'm very proud about that. But in terms of the district makeup, there are lots of folks that would benefit, not only from ACA, but also for a minimum wage increase. So my question is, where are you on minimum wage? Do you support a $10 minimum wage? Do you support an increase in minimum wage, period? Where are you on minimum wage? Because I understand there was a quote about a month or so ago, I don't know where you were, but a quote that said that you did not support minimum wage, so I wanted to ask.
I will stand on that quote. Minimum wage can be increased. Where does it stop? Does it go to $15 an hour? Does it go to $20 an hour?
It shouldn't stop. It actually should not stop.
And that's,
Marco, por favor, I want you to respect the council.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Por favor.
Sorry, Fernando.
you know, business, this nation was developed on the entrepreneurship of business and competition. Why is minimum wage important right now? Because there's no other jobs to compete against it. You know, it's interesting, from 2001 to 2006, we were busy. Wages were going up rapidly on their own. There was frustration for those small McDonald's or other places to be able to find employees at times, because people were actually that were trained, were actually finding jobs. We need to get back to work. If you start putting minimum wages on things, people will go to mechanized systems. You're seeing it every time you turn around, they go to more mechanized. And when that happens, that unemploys people. You can agree or disagree, but that's a view I have. I've seen it happen. The ACA, I will stand where it needs to be repealed. Do we need to do something? Yes. But the government's not good at doing it. It's already proved itself. It's standing in the way of business growth. Do we need to do something with health care? Absolutely. Should it have been done a long time ago? Absolutely. Those opportunities can be done and developed with the right actions to get it back out in the private sector to work with people to make sure they have those opportunities.
Congressman Hardy, you briefly spoke about public land. Currently in the news, we have the Mesquite City Council talking about protecting Goldview, and it's been in the news lately. What do you think is needed to protect Goldview and other public lands of concern?
You know, it's interesting. Everybody's interested about protecting public lands. What are they protecting? You know, it's still one of the greatest places, you know, for me as a kid. But what are you protecting? The BLM has not really done their job out there over the years. They talk about switching this ACA, switching this NCA, and let's get more money for economies. It's not going to bring more money. You protect it by bringing more people in. The problem you have when you start putting things in the field for federal delegations, they talk about, we'll keep out open these certain roads. But when it happens, once it goes from Congress into that support, now it goes into the administrator's hands. This has happened all over the state, all over the West. Now the administrator can decide what road is closed. He gets to decide if there's a challenge there on his own, without any congressional authority. Because when it's turned over to the administration, it's changes based on politics. You know, I think we have a better idea of how to manage that land. We've done a great job out there. And we hear about vandalism. You know, there's been an incident or two out there. You know, some would say that maybe some of those incidents are caused by people, the same people who are trying to create the wilderness designation. You know, if you want to protect the petroglyphs, let's put that in there. Why would you take the whole area of 300,000+ acres and try to put it in wilderness? So without any input, the federal government has a desire to continue to do things on its own, based on administration. Oh, yes, sir.
Majority of Nevadans over the years have been against Yucca Mountain. Recently, you noticed that you're for Yucca Mountain, but you being a transportation expert and all that, how do you plan on getting nuclear waste to there without any issues with it or any wreckages or anything like that?
You know, it's interesting that somehow that op-ed that I put out there, somebody puts me as for. I've said I'm neither for, I'm neither against. I think that the conversation needs to happen. There's always going to be that percentage that's against it no matter what happens. There's going to be that percentage of people that are for it no matter what happens. Let's have that open conversation. You know, the governor's folks have science that says it's unsafe. I've spoken to the governor's staff, I've spoken with the NRC, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, I've spoken with people on the committees now that have been involved back in DC. Let's have that conversation to where, let's say, okay, the NRC said, prove our science wrong, and we'll stand with it. But they were happy to hear that. Let's just have the conversation. Let's put it to bed once and for all. You know, I've had a chance to tour Yucca Mountain myself. Interesting site, I understand what they're after, I understand how they're going to do it. You know, I still want to finish reading the Bibles that's there. There's a stack of books about that big on the safety regulations. But when it comes down to it, folks, the best way to put this thing to bed, for me, is have that conversation. I don't think that people really thought about the fact that once, if you selected Yucca Mountain, what happens then when you start having to transport it? Communities all over this country, it's coming from someplace else. When it starts traveling through their community, are they going to want that? I have the tendency to believe that might shut it down a whole lot quicker. Now they understand what kind of situation they're putting Nevada in by trying to say, put it here. You know, there's a risk of taking it through, but there's also a national risk of having it set where it's at. It's exposed to vandalism, it's exposed to terrorism. We know terrorism's here. Anybody that doesn't believe that, I think they're in disagreement with what I believe. And so we have a national security problem we have to look at that. But I think once that discussion happens, now you bring the whole nation into it because it's coming from someplace else. I saw a hand back there somewhere. Yes, sir.
How you doing, sir? My name is Officer Munoz. I work for Las Vegas Metro. Is Congress or the federal government looking into anything reference what's happening in Baltimore, what's happening in Missouri, coming together as a nation? Because there's a lot of police departments that right now that are scared because they're afraid, you know, the next video that gets posted on their city is the next target when it comes to riots. You know, luckily Vegas, you know, we're very proactive and we have a lot of good things going out here in the community. But as a federal government and as police departments run with less money, I can tell you, in the past, we used to be in the schools educating the kids on a constant basis. But that, you know, our programs have diminished because of money, because of government money not completely funding our police departments. Has the federal government sat down and spoke about what's really happening in the nation when it comes to these riots?
Those conversations, I'm not on those committees, so to speak, but I know those conversations are happening in conference direction, trying to solve issues. You know, I'm thankful that we actually was able to get our funding up out here for you know, security and safety over terrorist individuals. The chief was out there visiting with us. I think it was about $3.5 million was extra was appropriated for out here to help for that security of the city, because it is one of the most I believe it's a very targeted city, and they don't understand how big this city gets with the tourism side of it. As far as those issues, I think Metro has done a great job on community policing. Can things happen? Yes. But I think there's another solution that needs to happen in this country. I think a lot of the challenges you have with individuals, challenges, if people aren't being able to take care of their families. We need jobs all over this country. We keep hearing about our economic growth, but the job growth is really not keeping up with the growth of the nation, population-wise. So that's, you know, it's kind of a big reach out there to make sure we get jobs, and I think it solves problems for people that are frustrated. Anytime that you can't take care of your responsibility as a father or a mother, I think that causes frustration, and you start, and as you know, so those are some of the toughest areas for unemployment. Much like in my district, we have major unemployment in my district. We need to solve that problem, and I think that's the best way to keep things at bay and challenges is by getting people back to work.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry, there's so many people between you and me, I wasn't quite sure. Congressman Hardy, you're actually my congressman. I'm Allison Turner. I've lobbied and advocated, I should say, for children, families, and communities for about 30 years now, living in a number of states and a couple of countries. And so I'd like to offer you a comment first. I have not looked at this data in a long time. However, when Yucca Mountain was last really moving in terms of opening, there was a lot of discussion about New Mexico had done the right thing and they were receiving federal money for agreeing to store. And when I checked the data, it turned out New Mexico went to court every year and never got a dime out of the federal government. So I would just suggest that maybe somebody on your staff could kind of take a quick look at that and see what actually happened there and make sure it doesn't happen here if this thing moves forward. That's my comment. My question, and I apologize for being so late, but is more about education. I may have missed a conversation about education, and if I did, I apologize. I firmly believe that education is one of the greatest issues facing our nation today. It is certainly a huge issue facing our state. The gentleman with Metro alluded to their efforts, which have been curtailed simply because of budget cuts. So is Congress finally going to reauthorize the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, number one? And number two, what else will Congress do to actually support effective family engagement, which means families support student learning at home, and it is the single most highly correlated factor with student success. The federal government has pretty much abandoned parental involvement in effective family engagement. I met with Kyle Likens in your office 2 months ago now in Washington. We could use any help you can give us, sir, because this is all about our kids and our families and the future. Thank you.
I think I said earlier, and maybe you didn't address answer your question, but education is probably one of the most important things that we can happen to do, not just in this district, but in society. It provides those individuals that come out of high school the education needed to enter the workforce. They can go on to college if they desire, or vocational type college to make sure that they have to learn the trades and be able to create sustainable families. Now, where we're at back there, we tried to move a bill. It was so divided, so it's still being in the Education Committee, worked around and tried to get it to where it can move. But I'm a firm believer that education is best here at home, local jurisdiction. I'm a firm believer that education is, for every school, is its own community. I believe in parent and teacher involvement, more than a lot of administrative involvement. Let the parents and teachers of that community decide how where the challenges are and how they invest in that school with factors. They have to meet certain criteria, and I think it's better handled at home. I do believe that jobs actually help. Job creation actually helps education because now it provides that environment to where people can go out and work together as family, and gives that opportunity for that parent to be involved in the education. Right now, people are working 2 and 3 jobs just to survive, and it keeps that parent away from doing what the real duty is, to rear that child and get them a good education, help them with that education. So it's a big dynamics, but I think we will get that out here shortly. That's what I'm hearing from the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Let me stand on my tiptoes here. There used to be a song when I was growing up. The name of it was I'm a short, dark Mexican. And that's what I am, exactly. You want me to sing it for you? No. We thank the Congressman for coming, for accepting our invitation, and thank all of you for coming to listen and to take part in that conversation. Thank you so much. I want to recognize a couple of individuals in the audience. Judge Don Mosley, he is so relaxed now, I didn't recognize him. Retired, taking it easy. Thank you, sir, for coming. Let me introduce to you, his name has already been mentioned, but Claude Swanner, is it? He's the President for Veterans in Actions. Thank you for coming. And we also welcome